So we got this fight coming up tonight, well, in a couple of hours actually, between Dillian Whyte and Dave Allen. This heavyweight fight in the UK in Leeds. Now, most people are picking Dillian Whyte to win. There are some people tipping Dave Allen to pull off the upset. And I'm going to go over the arguments for both scenarios, which I've been reading on the internet from the majority of people who have gone with either or. Now, those in favor of Dillian Whyte winning this fight tend to be picking him by KO. They think he's just way better than Dave Allen. Better boxer, harder puncher, more experienced, more comfortable in an event like this, under the bright lights. Dillian Whyte has been in or fought on plenty of big shows by now. He was obviously involved in that fight with Joshua, and he didn't freeze in the Joshua fight. Let that be said. That was a very, very big occasion, pay-per-view. Dillian Whyte did not freeze. If he didn't freeze then, obviously he's not going to freeze against Dave Allen. So he's very comfortable in this situation. And those who believe Dillian Whyte is going to deal with Dave Allen fairly easily, a lot of them are saying that they think Dave Allen might freeze. A lot of them are saying they think that he looks nervous. And I've watched a few interviews with Dave Allen and also with Eddie Hearn. And Dave Allen basically said that he has performed very, very well in the gym against top fighters. In his own words, he said he's schooled Anthony Joshua or outboxed Anthony Joshua in sparring on numerous occasions. But he hasn't been able to transfer that form into his actual professional fights. This is what he has said himself. Now, that is something that is fairly common with, as I say, inexperienced fighters particularly, where they do all types of stuff in the gym, but when it comes to the actual fight, it's like the occasion gets to them and they can't perform to the best of their ability. So Dave Allen has admitted to that. If that happens again here against Dillian Whyte, then I think it's fair to say he's in a lot of trouble. And a lot of people seem to be assuming that it is going to happen again and that he won't suddenly morph into this much better fighter, which he's been talking about, which he's claimed that he is behind the scenes in the gym, but who we've yet to see in an actual professional fight. So most people are banking on it being the same Dave Allen that we've seen through all his professional fights so far. And if it is, that's why so many people are picking Dillian Whyte to win this fairly comfortably. Now, the other side of the argument, which is the people who think Dave Allen can win this fight, or some people are actually outright picking him, they think that Dillian Whyte has underestimated Dave Allen. They think that he's being too cocky. They think that it's a situation like James DeGale when he went in there with George Groves. From a psychological point of view, some people think that Dillian Whyte is not taking this fight seriously enough, and that's going to give Dave Allen the opportunity. A lot of people believe in Dave Allen's work rate, in his physical fitness. Apparently he comes from a track and field background. I've heard him talk about this. And they're saying, you know what? Dillian Whyte, in terms of stamina, is unproven. In fact, he gassed out against Joshua. A lot of people say that. In fact, I'm sure Dillian Whyte himself would admit that he kind of gassed out against Joshua. The fitness wasn't where it should have been. Does Dillian Whyte have it in the tank to do 10 hard rounds at a good pace against the guy who's taking his shots? Another thing about Dave Allen is that apparently, according to what people say about his performances in sparring, he's got an iron jaw. Even Eddie Hearn was saying Dave Allen's got a good chin, and Eddie Hearn has definitely seen Dave Allen spar Joshua. So yeah, they're banking on Allen's fitness, his chin, and Dillian Whyte may be underestimating him. And his work rate as well. Personally, as I've previously stated in another video, I am picking Dillian Whyte to win the fight, but an upset wouldn't shock me because there are still a lot of questions about both of these men, including Dillian Whyte. How's that shoulder of Dillian Whyte's? Is it really going to be 100% healed? I'm not sure. That's a question right there. If that shoulder goes, does he really have enough to keep Dave Allen off? And if that shoulder does go and Dave Allen notices it, surely that's going to spur him on. Is Dillian Whyte underestimating Dave Allen? Dave Allen might be a terrific fighter behind the scenes. We've yet to see it in the ring. Can he produce it? Maybe he can. He's very inexperienced. So maybe Dave Allen could be a revelation tonight. There are so many questions when you're dealing with fighters like these who are relatively inexperienced. Allen is more inexperienced than Whyte, but even Whyte is still relatively inexperienced. He's never been 10 rounds or 12 rounds. We don't know what he's like in the second half of the fight, a half of a fight. So because there are all these questions, no matter who wins, I won't be particularly surprised, to be honest. I am picking Whyte because I think I'm picking Whyte based on what he's shown in the ring so far as a professional. He's not somebody like a Dave Allen who we hear these great things in sparring, but he hasn't produced it in the ring. Dillian Whyte, for the most part, has produced in the ring. Enough for me to pick him over Dave Allen at least. He's been on big shows. He hurt Anthony Joshua. He gave Joshua the toughest fight of Joshua's career so far. Joshua won the world title against Charles Martin, defended against Dominic Breazeale, 2 undefeated American fighters, and neither one of them gave Joshua anywhere near the amount of trouble that Dillian Whyte gave him. Dillian Whyte took out guys like Nascimento, Brian Minto, etc., who are journeymen, but they're journeymen who normally take people quite a lot of rounds. I saw the workouts for Dillian Whyte and Dave Allen. Dave Allen looked to have pretty quick hands on the pads during the public workout. And Dillian Whyte seemed to be punching very, very hard. I was impressed with Dillian Whyte's punching power, the sharpness of his jab. Interestingly, he was southpaw for a little bit of the public workout. I don't know whether that's just showing his repertoire or whether that's some type of contingency measure in case his left shoulder goes. Maybe they'll turn southpaw and use his right jab instead of his left jab. I don't know. Maybe you could leave your comments and thoughts about that. But yeah, I was quite impressed with both of them, to be honest with you, at the public workout. Dillian Whyte seems to be, as I say, punching very hard. He's lighter than he's been for his past few fights. And he's definitely gained muscle and lost some fat. Looks sharper, looks lighter on his feet. Dave Allen, as I say, neither one of these guys are body beautiful, but relatively speaking for them, they look in good condition. Dave Allen looks, as good as he's looked in previous fights. I mean, Dave Allen's a guy who's weighed as high as, I think, 264 pounds before in his career, which is in stone. I think that's about 19 stone or something, or 19, close to 19 stone at least. 264 pounds. For this fight, he's a lot less than that. He's 16 stone something. And Dillian Whyte, I believe, was 243 pounds, I think, for this fight, or 245. So, yeah, both guys in relatively good shape. Both guys, even though this fight was made on short notice, both guys had been in training several weeks before the fight got signed. So, I know Dave Allen's situation in terms of his trainer, Dominic Ingle, not being with him isn't ideal. He's had Junior Witter and some other guys from the Ingle gym step in to handle his training. It's not ideal. Dillian Whyte's situation seems to be a lot better in terms of his training setup. He's got Mark Tibbs and he's had him for a full camp. There is no chopping and changing or having to follow Jonathan Banks around anywhere. No. So it's all poised for an intriguing fight. I look forward to seeing what's going to happen here. Early in the fight, I expect Dillian Whyte to establish his jab, and he does have a very good jab when that left shoulder is healthy. Powerful. And, Dillian Whyte's one of those kind of guys who I think is naturally heavy-handed. When he hurt Joshua with that left hook, he didn't even have to think about trying to put power into the shot. It was just a reaction shot, an instinctive shot, and it had power on it. Because he's just a naturally heavy-handed guy. If he catches you with whatever he throws, you know, even if it's a reaction shot, an instinctive shot, more often than not, it's going to be a hard shot and it's going to hurt you if he catches you clean. So I think he is the bigger puncher than Dave Allen. And I expect to see him trying to establish that punching power and that strength early on in the fight. But it really will intrigue me if the fight goes long. And I'm interested to see what this chin of Dave Allen's is like. I know he's been taking big shots in sparring with 16, 18-ounce gloves on and headgear. I want to see what it's like in a professional fight against a guy like Dillian Whyte, who can punch. We don't know where his power's at in terms of world level, but I suspect Dillian Whyte will be a puncher even at world level. Anthony Joshua's at world level now, and he was able to hurt Joshua. And I'm sure that was not Dillian Whyte's hardest punch. He can punch a lot harder than the left hook he hit Joshua with. So, yeah, very, very intriguing for me anyway. And these kind of fights with young guys, young, unproven guys, tend to be the fights where you have most drama. These tend to be the fights where the unexpected does happen, more so than the high-level fights, which are eagerly anticipated. Generally speaking, for me, the high-level fights are easier to predict than fights like this with two young, hungry guys. Unproven guys. These fights to me are more difficult to predict because you haven't seen both of these guys in the amount of scenarios that you would want to be able to make an accurate prediction about what's going to happen in a fight or how they will react in certain situations. You don't know because you haven't seen them in every situation yet. So, yeah. Let me know how you feel about this fight, people. Sorry, this video was a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But I just wanted to get a few of my musings and thoughts off my chest. As I say, I'm still going with Dillian Whyte to win the fight. But an upset wouldn't surprise me, man. These are young, hungry guys. These are both aggressive characters. So you never know, man. You never know. I don't know what the odds are for Dave Allen scoring the upset. But if they're decent, I'm not a gambling man. I'm not somebody like Dwight who recommends bets. But if I was a gambling man, I might place some money on Dave Allen if the odds were decent. So, yeah. Let me know how you feel in the comment section below, people. It's your boy Hatman. I'm out.